Feel the speed, the thrill, yeah. High octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checkered flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. We go SAFRL the show. Engines roar, lights will glow. Feel the rush, feel the flow. Every lap, a twist, a turn. Speeding fast, rubber burn. Crowds cheer, hearts churn. Victory, what we yearn. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows side by side. Drama here can't hide. Victory, what we earn. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows side by side. Drama here can't hide. Racing fast in full stride. Crashes, spins on the track. Up and down, who's coming back? Champions rise, no slack. Push to the front, never back. Pit stops, precision, gold. Strategy, daring, bold. Who will lead, not foretold. Speed and skill, tales unfold. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows side by side. Drama here can't hide. Racing fast in full stride.
Let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, 'cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fake. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that mill. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story. That's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run.
It's time to go. Feel the speed, let it flow. Racing hearts, watch them glow. Turn it up, start the show. NFR, feel the heat. Fast and fierce, never beat. Engines roar, can't stay off seats. Catch the thrill, it's so sweet. Round the track like a shooting star. Feel the rush, NFR. Lap by lap, watch them spin. The victory's close, who will win? In our heads, the engine's din. NFR, let's begin. NFR, lights are green.
Legends roar, the crowd goes wild. SAFRL under the lights. Tuesday night a battle begins. Speeding hearts chasing winds. Pit stops are lightning fast. Every second a driver must grasp. Bumps and spins on curves so tight, fighting for glory beneath the twilight. SAFRL on a Tuesday night. Adrenaline rush and flashing lights. Tears and triumphs on the line. In the race of life at 8 p.m. shine. The checkered flag is waving near. Fans are cheering, can you hear? Highs and lows in every lap. Draw unfolds, no time for a nap. Competitors push with all their might, risking it all in the fight. Victory awaits the bold and brave. Legends are born on this stage. SAFRL on a Tuesday night. Adrenaline rush and flashing lights. Tears and triumphs on the line. In the race of life at 8 p.m. shine. Checkered flag is waving near. Fans are cheering, can you hear? Highs and lows in every lap. Draw unfolds, no time for a nap. Competitors push with all their might, risking it all in the fight. Victory awaits the bold and brave. Legends are born on the stage. SAFRL on a Tuesday night. Adrenaline rush and flashing lights. Tears and triumphs on the line. In the race of life at 8 p.m. shine.
Liam Lawson rode into Red Bull's gate. Kiwi kid with dreams so great. 2 races in, he hit the wall. Max Verstappen wrecked him, y'all. He thought he'd shine, but oh sweet son, Max chewed him up like a 2-day run. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Daddy Rick tried with his big old grin, but Max spun him out, said I always win. Gasly and Albon, they took their turn, crashed and burned, oh how they yearned. Perez hung on till his tires were flat, now Williams gone, imagine that. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Red Bull barn's a lonely place. If you ain't Max, you're out of the race. Liam packed his boots, said I'm done, I reckon. Max just smirked, next victim's beckoning. The pit crew sang, he's too dang fast. Every teammate's a thing of the past. Now Lawson's back with the junior squad, singing why'd I think I'd beat that god. Max's shadow looms so tall and wide. Another teammate's pride just died. From Daniel Pierre out of Checo too. Liam learned what we all knew. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. So here's to Liam with a beer and a side. 2 races down and a wide-eyed try. Max keeps winning that Dutch tornado. Red Bull's second seat, a big oh no.
is lightning, it's the dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Like Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. And now Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter scene in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see. Tuesday night lights burn bright, racers chasing dreams in flight. SAFRL thunder roar, spinning wheels forevermore. Engines scream at 8 o'clock, adrenaline like ticking clock. Turns and twists where legends bleed, every fan needs to believe. In the league of SAFRL we rise, fuel and fire in our eyes, from the lows to the highest highs. It's the thrill that never dies. Pit stops quick, a race of fate, champions born at heaven's gates. Trackside hearts beat wild and free, victory for all to see. Rivalries burn tire lights, red and green in the night. Final lap on the moon's gaze, ending in a roaring blaze. Crowd rolls like crashing tide, in SAFRL we take pride. From start to end hero fights, everlasting speed delight. In the league of SAFRL we rise, fuel and fire in our eyes, from the lows to the highest highs. It's the thrill that never dies. In the league of SAFRL we rise, fuel and fire in our eyes, from the lows to the highest highs. It's the thrill that never dies. In the league of SAFRL we rise, fuel and fire in our eyes, from the lows to the highest highs. It's the thrill that never dies, the thrill that never dies. Pit stops quick, a race of fate, champions born at heaven's gate. Trackside hearts beat wild and free, a victory for all to see. Rivalries burn tire might, red and green in the night. Final lap on the moon's gaze, ending in a roaring blaze. Crowd roars like crashing tide, in SAFRL In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold.
Good evening, everybody, and it is 5 to 8, and as promised, we're about to tell you which circuit we're going to be racing at. And I did say earlier that in the event of a tie, I'd have to make a tiebreaker. So we got one vote apiece for Zandvoort and Canada. That's 4% each. And then we got 46% on Brazil, 46% on Italy. So, well, not going to let... What do we go for? Brazil? Italy? I say let's go to Brazil. So I think that'll be the venue for tonight. Brazil, you can let them know in the Discord. And we're going to be getting underway in about 5 minutes from now.
High octane drama can't get off fill. Engines roaring loud, heartbeats on the rise. On NFR, see the sparks in our eyes. Racing through the night, chasing every turn. On NFR, adrenaline we burn. Pit stops and fast cars, it's a wild ride. NFR, in our veins we can't hide. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. Yeah. Every lap a story, every driver's dream. On NFR, racing's the supreme. Checker flags waving, champions arise. NFR brings the glory to our eyes. NFR, where the legends are born. Speeding past the limits, engines reborn. In the fast lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. NFR with the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR's lane, every second counts. NFR, the thrill always mounts. NFR, feel the rush, feel the speed. Formula One dreams, we take the lead. On NFR, we're flying high. Under the lights, we touch the sky. You move to NFR, feel the speed. Sunday night, 8 p.m. We go SAFRL the show. Engines roar, lights will glow. Feel the rush, feel the flow. Every lap, a twist, a turn. Speeding fast, rubber burn. Crowds cheer, hearts churn. Victory, what we earn. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows, side by side. Drama here can't hide. Victory, what we earn. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows, side by side. Drama here can't hide. Racing fast in full stride. Crashes, spins on the track. Up and down, who's coming back? Champions rise, no slack. Push to the front, never back. Pit stops, precision, gold. Strategy, daring, bold. Who will lead, not foretold. Speed and skill, tales unfold. SAFRL, we ride. Highs and lows, side by side. Drama here can't hide. Racing fast in full stride.
Folks, let me spin you a tale about a race car driver, George Russell by name. He's quick on the track, but don't get too excited, cause when it comes to greatness, well, he's not quite knighted. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. He's got the helmet, he's got the car, but when it comes to win, he's not quite up to par. He's got the look like Woody with a cowboy hat, but when he's in the pit, you'll see him shed a tear stack. Now don't get me wrong, he's got some skill, but when you're talking about the best, he's not in that middle. He'll race you hard, give you quite the fright, but in the end, he's more known for his tears at night. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run. He's good, but not that great. Oh George, he's got the speed, but not the fate. Oh George, he looks like Woody from Toy Story, that's no lie. And when the race goes wrong, oh how that boy can cry. So here's to George, with his heart on his sleeve. In the world of Formula One, he's got a lot to achieve. He might not be the champ, but he sure is fun. So let's give a cheer for George, our Woody on the run.
with dreams so great. 2 races in, he hit the wall. Max Verstappen wrecked him, y'all. He thought he'd shine, but oh sweet son, Max chewed him up like a 2-day run. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Daddy Rick tried with his big old grin, but Max spun him out, said I always win. Gasly and Albon, they took their turn, crashed and burned, oh how they yearned. Perez hung on till his tires were flat, now Williams gone, imagine that. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. Red Bull barn's a lonely place. If you ain't Max, you're out of the race. Liam packed his boots, said I'm done, I reckon. Max just smirked, next victim's beckoning. The pit crew sang, he's too dang fast. Every teammate's a thing of the past. Now Lawson's back with the junior squad, singing why'd I think I'd beat that god. Max's shadow looms so tall and wide. Another teammate's pride just died. From Daniel Pierre, I was Checo too. Liam learned what we all knew. 2 races and a teardrop, that's all he got. 5 faster than a jackrabbit shot. Max destroyed another teammate. It's plain to see from Ricciardo to Lawson, he's a one-man spree. So here's to Liam with a beer and a side. 2 races down and a wide-eyed try. Max keeps winning that Dutch tornado. Red Bull's second seat, a big oh no.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to NFR and welcome back to SAFRL on a Tuesday night. It's 8:05 local time and we're about to get going. Of course, this was one of 2 venues on the calendar that is decided by the chat here at NFR, and well, that poll closed at 5-8, and when it closed it was a draw and I had to do the tie break. It was either going to be Monza or Brazil. I had to go for one of them. It was Brazil, and then a vote came in last minute, but unfortunately it was past that 5-8 cutoff. Otherwise we could have been at the Temple of Speed. Saw a few cars going out. There we go. See a car going out. Track's still pretty quiet. Of course, difference. Joe Kutsia asking if we can do Kyle Army next. Well, that would be fantastic. I'd have, if we could have Kyle Army, I think we could just have 10 rounds of Kyle Army. I'd definitely commentate on that. One of the first drivers out on track. This is Skull. There's no lap times just yet. Lots of times drivers leading up to the race do a little bit of practice, a little bit of fine tuning, messing about with the setup, stuff like that. Tonight they really didn't get that opportunity. Until 10 minutes ago they didn't know where they'd be racing. Skull was saying early on his preference was Brazil. You know, his vote was for Brazil. Now he needs to back that up with a performance here in Brazil. We go to Skulk at the wrong time. He's off the circuit. Boinky's leaving the pits. We's on an outlap. This is Andre, one of the two Ferraris. We have 17 drivers in the field. We may still have one or two that squeeze in before the race. But for now, just the 17, 15 and a half minutes remaining in the session. No lap times yet. Of course, Brazil, a very short race circuit, easy to get around here real quick. And maybe even do an extra run in qualifying if you manage your time well. This is Andre up the hill. If you're a Lewis Hamilton fan, you'll know that hill very well. Andre over the line, first man over the line, so he does go quickest, then immediately Skull goes over the line just behind him. I think that's a tenth of a second if I'm not mistaken between the two. 109.0, 109.1. Next man over the line is Spikes, 111.0. He's got a little bit more time to find his teammate. Just started his quick lap. Virus on an outlap, Levy on an outlap. Still haven't seen a lap time from Jonas. He remains in the pits for now. Weez, 107.7 goes quickest. Something we've come quite accustomed to. We're quite used to seeing certain names at the top. This is Osman. Still no lap time from him. Just the 5 drivers to have set lap times so far. This is Big Rhino in the RB. And you've got Scully, the other RB, and as I mentioned, Big Rhino, he's retired. Big Rhino is retired from qualifying without a lap time. So that means he's going to be starting from the very rear of the field, unless anybody gets disqualified. This is Essa up into P6. The other Williams sitting nicely in P2. That's Spikes. This is the Aston Martin of Virus. When you start getting to this point in the qualifying session and you still haven't set a lap time, pressure does start to mount a little bit. It is a circuit we've seen in the past that can be quite difficult on the track limits, so we do tend to see invalidated laps in qualifying and then a lot of penalties in the race. So hopefully the drivers can steer clear of that. Penalties can destroy a race, especially when safety cars are involved. And when it comes to Interlagos, safety cars are involved more often than not. Of course, this circuit was saved just a few years ago. We almost lost Interlagos on the F1 calendar. We would have moved to a race circuit in Rio de Janeiro. Fortunately, they were able to work that out, and we were able to hold on to one of the classic race circuits on the calendar. We have lost many of those circuits. Of course, 2025 will be the last time you see Catalunya on the calendar. It's a 10-year deal with Madrid for a street circuit starting in 2026. Barcelona, a track that's been there since the very early 90s, now being replaced by yet another street circuit. And depending on what you prefer, you might feel really happy about that or really sad about that. Welcome to everyone in the comment section. Lots of you here. A lot of them were just drivers that came in to participate in the vote. Fantastic to have everyone here. Some names I recognize, one or two I don't. think we had something like 27 votes on that poll. So thanks to everybody who took part. It shows you at the end that one vote could have made all the difference. So we're going to have another one of these rounds. And when it comes around, be sure to get your vote in before 5 to 8. It's Ferree on an outlap, currently in P4, Spikes P3, Levy, that's more like it, 1080. Then Wheeze, the only driver in the 107s, 1077. Of course, if you've been with NFR throughout, then this is 3 in a row. Of course, we did SKR on Sunday. Yesterday we had our round 1 of League v League. That was a good night for SKR. All 4 cars in the points. And tonight we're here in Brazil for SAFRL. This is Skulk, currently P14, Top Gun 15. Everyone has now set a lap. Jonas chose not to set a lap, or he retired. I don't think he retired. I think he's trying to give himself a handful because he enjoys that sort of thing. Big Rhino did retire, so just the 15 cars. Wee's currently quickest, the only man in the 107s. 2.5 tenths quicker than anybody else. Then you've got Levy 1080, Spikes 1082. Then it's Ferree 1085, Andre 1088. Then you've got Harsh Cartoon in P6, Skull P7, Scully, Boinkies, and Virus making up the top 10. Wheeze goes over the line even quicker, 107.4, previous best 107.7, takes another 3 tenths out of that time. Moves the goalpost a little further. If you thought you had to find 3 tenths, well now you've got to go find 7. This is Andre. Good position so far for him. He's in P5. Seems to like this circuit. Driver that was praying for this circuit in the comment section. That's Skull. He's returning to the pits. His best time, a 109.0, good enough for P7. This is Scully, the driver in P8. One of the 2 RBs here on the night. The other RB going to be starting from the rear of the field. The first 2 retire. If you're wondering how that works out, 2 drivers, both don't set a lap. How do you decide who starts in front? Well, I'm not sure what they do in real life, but in the game, the longer you are in the session counts. So if you're the first to retire, you start from the rear. That's why Jonas is just ahead of Big Rhino. It's not going to be quite last to first. Fastest man is Wheeze. He's returned to the pits. There's 7 minutes remaining. That's what I mean about Brazil, one of the shorter race circuits on the calendar. Manage your time well in qualifying and you can even get an extra run in. Can see how narrow this circuit is in places. You just got a good shot there of that straight. Obviously the more modern circuits much wider. Interlagos was even more narrow. They've actually had upgrades recently. This is Levy. Almost looks like they're coming into the pits each time. They cut that corner as much as possible. Levy into the 107s, but not quite enough just yet. 107.9. The best time is a 107.4. If he wants to jump Wheeze, he's going to have to find another half a second. And Wheeze is out on an outlap. He's going there to defend that even further. It's the second Williams, Essa. Best time a 1:08.7. Half a second behind his teammate. Half a second between 4 and 5. Some big gaps in the field. Scully and Skulk 10 and 11. This is Osman in the pits. Boinky's in the pits. This is 420 in P14. I believe that translates to Tree Smoker. Do we call him Tree Smoker? We call him 420. I'm not saying it in Afrikaans because I can't. Top Gun. He's at the rear of the field. P15, 1:12.1. Just hasn't been able to sew a proper lap time together. Maybe waiting till the end of the session. I should just call him Tree Smoker because I think that sounds hilarious. Of course, next week we'll go back to following the F1 calendar. We're going to be following the F1 calendar wherever possible. When it's not possible, well, then we have events like this. So next week it will be to Japan. Of course, the Japanese Grand Prix coming up this weekend. Yuki Tsunoda will be making his debut for Red Bull. No pressure. Debut for Red Bull Home Grand Prix. Wheeze. It's gone even quicker. 1:07.3. Found another 10th. Levy remains in the pits. It's Fariz out on track. 1:08.0. If he's able to find himself at 10th, he'll be able to put himself on that front row. Still 3 minutes, and surely Levy will come out and try get a little closer, or at least defend that lap time, because it's free, it's awfully close. There's 420 as he goes over the line. See what he can come up with. This time 1:09.2, good enough for P13. Winkies. Like he's on a prep lap. Top Gun still at the rear, 1:11.4. The last lap he did was a 1:12, so he's coming down. Not sure what's happening with the second Ferrari. Wheeze into the pits and retires from the session. He's had enough of that. Levy remains in the pits. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. He's on an outlap. So he's going to go and try to defend that. Ferrari slowing down. I believe he is. 1:08.0. I think he's still got another lap in him. Two Williams doing really well. They wouldn't mind if the checkered flag fell right now. Spikes and Essa 4 and 5. This is Virus. Almost looked like the back just stepped out there, but I think that was the internet giving us a bit of a fright rather than the Aston Martin driver. Virus over the line, does find an improvement, goes up to P5. Levy on an outlap. It's Ferrari. We ride with the Red Bull driver. Of course, Red Bull's going to be in white this weekend. It's going to look like we have 4 RBs on the circuit. It's Ferrari over the line. 1:08.0. Still in P3. Levy still in P2. Only 2 drivers in the 1:07s. Levy looking to get closer to Wheeze. Looking to dethrone him from that top step. It's not going to be easy. Go to Skull just to see him back off. He's had enough, no improvement on the cards. Then Spikes. Of course, those Williams with 5 and 6, they've been split by the second Aston Martin. Harsh Cartoon. Andre currently in P10. No, he's got a little bit more than that. In a lot of race circuits we've seen him and Skull get very, very close in lap time. I usually use that as a gauge. If they're not close in lap time, then it means either one or the other. Qualifying hasn't gone according to plan. We'll follow Andre as he goes over the line. If he pulls into the pits, there's no improvement. He has chosen not to do so. Goes over the line and there is an improvement. He goes up from P10 to P6 on that final lap, a 108.3. Told you those two would be a lot closer. 108.2 for Skull, 108.3 for Andre. And that's the gauge I was talking about. This is Levy. Is he going to be able to improve to P1? It's going to have to be one heck of an improvement. If he pulls into the pits, then it's a no. Let's go to the second Williams, Essa. Looks like he's backed off as well. He's in first gear. Boinkies has gone over the checkered flag, and I think that's the session for everyone. Now the end of the qualifying session. Of course, if you're familiar with the format, then you'll know coming up after this a 50% race. Everybody's attention will now turn to what are they going to do with the strategy. And I love nights like these, mystery races, when we spin the wheel or when we do the vote like we did earlier. These guys don't have the same amount of preparation time, and as good as they are, sometimes you just see a little bit of rust. So we got going at 8:05. The track was announced at 8:58. So everyone had 10 minutes to go and make sure they had a setup for this circuit. These guys practically race every other day, so I'm sure they've got setups for everything. Wheeze, pole position 107.3, then Levy 107.8, good enough for P2 but couldn't get close enough. Then the second Red Bull, it's Ferrari, Skull P4, got Spikes in P5, Andre P6, improved his lap right at the end, Essa P7 in the second Williams, Virus P8, Boinkies P9, and Scully is going to make up the top 10. And we're back. We're back for the main event. Of course, qualifying is all fun and games. It doesn't really matter what you do in qualifying, because if everything goes wrong in the race, well, qualifying means nothing. Of course, we always talk about turn 1 when it gets to this time of the stream. So important for the entire field to get through turn 1 cleanly. Your race can effectively end at turn 1. Turn 1 just as important as qualifying, if not more. A lot of you watching. Good to have everyone watching. There's 15 of you here. Just the 9 likes. Remember to leave a like if you're enjoying what you're watching. Just finished quali. Now we're in the short break between qualifying and the race. This is when drivers are doing their final preparations, deciding what tyre they'll be starting on, how deep in the race they want to go. Of course, some of them will be starting on hards, and there's always that risk of an early safety car. That could give the medium runners a free pit stop. Joe wants me to do the race start in Afrikaans. That is a ridiculous request. The only way you get me to speak Afrikaans is if you get me very, very intoxicated. And if I was very, very intoxicated, well, this would be a very interesting stream. I probably wouldn't be talking about any other racing though. There is Visor. Don't think I've seen him yet. So this is his first. There we go, letting everyone in the comment section know he's here. Welcome to Visor. Joining late once again. Missed out on the vote. You're more likely I do an intro in Portuguese. Afrikaans is just not going to happen. There we get the dual green lights. That means we're getting our formation lap. This is final opportunity for the drivers just to get temperature into the tyres, get temperature into the brakes, prepare the car for turn 1. Wheeze from Levy, from Furry, Spikes, Andre, Essa, Virus, Boinky, Skull and Scully. That is your top 10. We didn't get beyond the top 10 in those official results when I read them out, so outside the top 10 with a bit of work to do. Harsh Cartoon P11, then Osman P12, Skulk, he's going to be going from P13, 420 from 14, Top Gun 15, then the very quick Jonas coming from 16th on the grid, he did not settle up, and Big Rhino, well, Big Rhino, he retired from qualifying very early on. Now everybody will line up. Everyone will get ready, of course. When they park, you get that little purple, green, red meter. Get it in the red, well, you get pushed back slightly in your grid slot. Those are the DSQs you see there on your screen for Skull and Skulk, very similar names. And now we wait for the 5 red lights. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. There's a pause. And off we go. Up the hill and into turn 1, an important turn 1. Hopefully everybody gets through. We see a bit of smoke in the background. That's just guys locking up. No harm in locking up, so long as you hold on to all your carbon fiber. Wheeze leads at the front from Levy. Levy thought he was in a Red Bull sandwich, but in fact he's not. Spikes up into P3, Farid P4, Andre P5. Position changing already on lap 1. Bringing up the tyre screen. Well, that is a mix. That is a mix. We've got soft runners, we've got medium runners, and we've got hard runners, and it's a pretty even split. That's what happens when you come into a race where you only know the venue a few minutes before. Drivers don't get to talk about what strategy they're going to be doing on the night. Don't have that communication between them. It means when we get to the night, everybody's got a slightly different idea about what the right choice is. Wheeze, of course, fastest lap of the race. Early days, those will come down. He's on a set of hard tyres. That makes it more impressive that he's in the lead. Of course, he should have a tyre disadvantage at this stage. Spikes and Levy just behind him on much better rubber with brand new mediums. And it's Ferrari, P4, the next of the hard runners. So he's planning to go deep into this race. Andre, top of the soft runners in P5. That's obviously looking to have a quick start, make up some positions at the start. He's gone for the soft tyre. Of course, the softer the compound, the quicker you're going back into the pits. Wheeze. Still out front, Spikes P2, he's taken another position now, he's got past Levy. Did Levy make a bit of a mistake? I'm not sure. Spikes goes quickest. I don't think that comes down to a mistake. I think he's just the quickest man out on circuit right now. Starting to put pressure on the Red Bull. Of course, Wheeze took pole position, he's led the race on turn 1. Maintained that pole position. Getting pole position feels fantastic, but you can pin it into turn 1 and cancel out all of that work. He didn't do that. Made sure he stayed in the lead. We do have one driver in the pits. That is 420, the McLaren driver, right at the back of the field. He's come into the pits. There we go, he's on his way out of the pits. Wonder if that was damage. Very unscheduled stop. He's now responding. Spikes went quickest on that last lap. Let's see this time around. Solvies lights up sector 2 in purple. No fastest lap this time around. But Spikes, he gets to the front. And now it's going to be very important for him to try and shake the Red Bull off. Use that superior grip. Use that superior compound to get up the field. And he hasn't been able to do that. Wheeze comes right back at him. Retakes the lead of the race. Spikes P2. Levy will be loving it. The two up the road, they're just battling. Makes it so much easier for him to keep up. It's Ferrari. 7/10 adrift from the top 3. Then there's a bit of a gap down to Virus. Virus in P5, he's followed by Andre, followed by Skull. That's 5, 6 and 7. Boinky's also not far behind, he's on the rear of that. There's Scully, driver in P9. Harsh Cartoon holding on to the last point. And a driver we haven't spoken about just yet, but we're about to start speaking about him a lot more. Remember, started in P16. Jonas didn't set a lap time, didn't leave the pits, decided to give himself a bit of a challenge, and so far everything is going to plan. A little bit of a tap between the Alpine and the RB, 3 wide. And oh goodness, hopefully things don't get too messy. Jonas does get around at the end. There was definitely a tyre tap with the RB. Seems both drivers get away unscathed without any damage. Harsh Cartoon said he was holding on to the points. He's lost that point down to P11. Long way to go, lap 5 of 36. Leads the way, and that's the view from his rear wing. He's building up a bit of a gap, 9.5 tenths of a second. Just needs that a little bit more. Breaks DRS. And whoa, that was a big spin. Spikes. Where is he? There he goes. Oh, he tried to turn that one around, and I think he may have damaged the front wing. Second time round. So Spikes went from a very strong position all the way down the field to P11. But we know if you've got the speed, you can come back through that field. Jonas has proved that much. There is the driver who's trying to cut his way through the field. Jonas P8, up from P16. So he's made up 8 positions in 6 laps. I'd say that's pretty impressive. Of course, the best lap, well, that still goes to Ayrton Senna. Opening lap, European Grand Prix 1993 at Donington Park. Had a terrible start. Made up 5 positions on lap 1 to lead the race. Skull, 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So frustrating for the drivers. Obviously, you don't want to waste any time coming into the pits. They try and stay on the limit as long as possible. Jump on the brakes just before that speed limiter. And sometimes just go over the edge, and that little over the edge will cost you 10 seconds. It's a really harsh penalty. All the games prior to this, that had been a 5-second penalty. In F124, in F125, F124 rather, it suddenly doubled to 10 seconds, and that's a much harsher penalty. Of course, the 10-second penalty, unlike the track limits penalty, can be served in the pits if he chooses to do another pit stop. It's on the hard tyre. I wonder if he was hoping to go to the end. And after all the frantics at the start, we now have a Red Bull 1-2. Not sure if we'll have a Red Bull 1-2 for much longer. That's why Levy, nicely done up the inside. Nothing much the Red Bull of its Ferrari could do, but now trying to come back. Like I say, not the widest circuit on the calendar. You've got to pick your overtaking spots. Weiss, Levy, it's Ferrari, that's the top 3, but Weiss now getting reasonably comfortable up there, 2.7 seconds. Well, if you had a 20-second lead on lap 8, well, I'd say just go into the pits. You've done enough. You've proved your point. But it's a 2.6 second gap. No idea why I said 20. Could you imagine? Weiss, Levy, it's Ferrari, Red Bull, Sauber, Red Bull. Now it's Ferrari, turns it back to a Red Bull 1-2. He's nowhere near his teammate. The 2 Red Bulls, both on the hard tyre. What could be crucial about this 3-second gap between the Red Bulls is that they would be able to pit on the same lap. So they are both running the hard tyre, and I presume they're running the same strategy. So if the teammates are too close together, then they need to split those laps. They need to split those pit stops, decide who's going to pit first. This is practically the perfect 1-2 for Red Bull, because they can pit on the same lap. Levy in P3 is going to be the first of the drivers there at the top to pit. Andre P7, he's going to have to pit even earlier. 8 laps now on the soft tyre. He's not coming in just yet. Stays out. Washbottoon P8. Scully P9. Make that P10 as Essa goes through on the inside. What would this sport be without DRS? Top Gun didn't seem to have much fun in qualifying. then in the race, sitting nice in P11. Just wants to get a little bit further up the road so that he can get into the points. Of course, we haven't even reached our first pit window. Any driver that has made a pit stop, that was probably not scheduled. Skull and Spikes both came into the pits, but I think that may have been for damage. We know that Skull picked up a penalty in doing so, and then 420, he came into the pits very early on. He's also managed to pick up a few penalties along the way. Penalty screen, 3 seconds apiece for 420 and Scully, and then that 10-second penalty next to the name of Skull. Wheeze from It's Free, but It's Free hasn't been able to shake off that Sauber. You'll know the driver he's fighting is on a set of mediums, he's on a set of hards. Those tyres are going to last longer. The mediums will start to fall off, but I think on lap 10 they still have a lot of life in them. So they're still feeling the advantage of the superior grip. That grip will start to fade. Joe asking for a lap in Portuguese. Wheeze still the driver out front, 3.9 seconds. Levy in P2, then It's Free in P3. Actually had a Portuguese league approach me about 3 months ago. PRL something, I'm not sure what they were called, but I was initially on board, and they told me they wanted me to do at least half of it in Portuguese, and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. My Portuguese is good, but to an actual Portuguese audience from Portugal, I wouldn't want to test it. Mas vocês perguntaram para uma volta em português, então vamos agora o piloto em primeiro lugar, Wheeze, para a equipa Red Bull. Depois em segundo temos It's Free. Temos aqui o Kick Sauber em terceiro. Depois olha aqui o Jonas começou em 16, agora já está em 4, ainda não foi visitar os pits, tem 2 voltas agora naqueles pneus. Agora o Wheeze vai mais uma volta, ainda em frente, quase 5 segundos. I think we've had enough of that. Wheeze leads the way from It's Free, 5 seconds is the gap, 4.9 in fact. Levy still holding on tight to the back of the second Red Bull. Knows he needs to hold on, those mediums are going to start to slide away. And you can just see there on the exit, the back end just stepping out, misbehaving ever so slightly. And the track now starting to come to those hard runners. It's really weird when I do go into the Portuguese, I start pronouncing the names wrong, which is quite funny. It's free in Portuguese all of a sudden becomes local SAFRL. This doesn't sound right if you do the whole Portuguese thing and then you say the name in English. Red Bull 1-2. Both of those drivers on the hard tyre, 14 laps. We said Levy, those tyres would start to go away while he's still holding on within DRS. He's still within 7/10. Hasn't let that second Red Bull get up the road. Now the man in P4. Man in P4, Jonas. If I was feeling brave tonight, well, I can do a little Spanish, but not tonight. Of course, there are many different variants of Spanish. Fernando Alonso, I can understand him perfectly. Carlos Sainz, well, I understand about half of what he says. Very different accents, very different dialects from Valencia to Barcelona to Madrid. So depending where you are in Spain, you might understand a lot less than you think. Essa picks up a 10-second penalty of his own. Seems like that speed line on the pit entry might be surprising a few drivers because a few have got it wrong. Still Red Bull 1-2. Levy still holding on in P3, 0.6 of a second, nothing's changed there, he's just matching the car ahead, lap after lap. The reason you'll never hear me speak let me tell you why you'll never hear me speak Afrikaans on the stream. Because I can sort of speak Afrikaans, but every now and then I'm gonna get somewhere where I don't know what the word is. And what happens when I don't know what the word is? Well, I fill it in with Afrikaans curse words. So yes, it wouldn't sound quite NFR. We have a caution, lap 17 of 36. We haven't seen a safety car yet. Things have been pretty clean. That's Top Gun. He got a DNF, but it hasn't triggered a safety car. So everybody can carry on their way. Safety car at this point would be interesting, but it would probably give the two Red Bulls a free pit stop. Wheeze. Absolutely hate this pit entry every single time. It looks like they're going to dive into the pits, and then no, they're not. They're just using all of the racetrack available to them. 5.5 seconds now the gap between the two Red Bulls, P1 and 2. And as for shaking off the Sauber, the second Red Bull has not been able to do so. Jonas getting closer and closer to the top 3. 3 seconds away, then 2.5. Now all of a sudden it's 1.5. Once he gets within DRS of Levy, it's going to bring him forward so much closer. And he's also on the hard tyre like the top 2. Levy still within that DRS of the second Red Bull. If you're able to stay within DRS, it's going to mitigate the disadvantage you have on those tires. Folks, I think we may have missed something. Let's just go on board, and there's the confirmation. Look at the left hand side of your screen. The drop just went down your screens. It is raining. lap 19 of 36. So often it rains in Brazil. And tonight it has chosen to do so again. We have rain at Interlagos. This changes everything. Now, depending what the weather decides to do from here to the end of the race, we don't know. Of course, we could get to intermediate conditions and stay there till the end of the race, or we could jump onto inters only for it to get even wetter. Then we'd need the full wet tire, or maybe things will end in the dry again. This is why rain is so interesting. Throws a spanner in the works. Don't think it's going to affect Reese too much. He's on the hard tyre, so he's just probably going to go even deeper into this race. He can stay out there on the hard tyre until he feels the track is no longer suitable. Then just come in for that inter, and depending on what the weather does, possibly finish on that inter. Goes over the line for another lap, doesn't think it's time for intermediates. Two drivers at the rear, Scully and Osman, they immediately jump onto the intermediate. Of course, when the track is suitable for intermediates, all of a sudden you're going to see gaps coming down at an alarming rate. If the gaps are not coming down, well, that means the slick tyre is still the better option. And if you look at the quickest guys, the most experienced guys in this field, well, they're still on the slick. Of course, one way you definitely know the track is damp is when the DRS has been disabled. Often you don't want to wait that late. Wheeze, and it's for Reese, still P1 and 2 for the Red Bulls. Jonas, now in P3, Levy must have made a mistake. Levy down to P4. 1.2 seconds adrift from Jonas. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him come into the pits now on the left-hand side. Does he? Like I say, you just can't tell on this circuit. See? For a moment there, he did get in the pit entry and then jumps out onto the straight. Probably the only circuit on the calendar you can do that. Boinkies in P5. Kane chooses to stay out. Rhino on a set of intermediates, Scully on a set of intermediates, and Osman. Rhino will be a driver to watch. He's got Essa ahead of him and a DNF. We've got a DNF. Very unfortunate on the hard tyres. The race has come to an end for one of the Aston Martins. That is Skull. Confirmation Skull has DNF from the race. It has given us a caution, but it hasn't triggered anything more than that. And unfortunately for Beth Queen in the comment section, one of your two drivers, one of your two favourite drivers, has fallen. At what was a racetrack he really wanted to race at. When you do return to the comment section, let me know what happened there. Was it the rain? These are tricky conditions, of course. The rain is falling. You're on the slick. The slick is still technically the better tyre than the intermediate at this stage. But you start to second guess yourself. Start to think, when will these tyres go off? You don't throw the car quite as aggressively into the corners. You maybe don't get on the curbs as much as you would. Jonas, definitely not a man that is driving within himself at this point. He's in P3. Gotten himself all the way up to the podium after starting in P16. Definitely driver of the day on the cards. He's doing what he can now to catch up to It's Free. You do hear a lot of squirming there on the rear tyres. There we go, into the pits. Wheeze. Oh, will you look at that, what happened? Wheeze, he has not pit. It's Ferrari and Jonas chosen to come in. Now this is a complicated little scenario. Skull DNF'd, triggered a caution, triggered a yellow flag. There was no initial safety car. Looked like we were ready to go again. Safety car has popped out. Don't see any more DNFs. But we do get a safety car on lap 23 of 36, and this is right when drivers would be switching to inters. Well, says Visor. Rain in Brazil. Who would have guessed? And that's exactly what I mean there. You saw Spikes coming into the pits, slamming on the brakes. Oh, and he's DNF'd. Spikes has called it a day. Did that Williams have damage that we didn't see? But Spikes into the pits, and I think that looks like a voluntary DNF. Andre, following the example of Skull, picking up a 10-second penalty. And now I just have no idea what's going on. Somebody's picked up a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. All sorts of penalties here on the night. There we go, 3 seconds for Virus, 3 seconds for 420. Then we've got 10 seconds for Andre. Esser's up to 20 seconds. And Scully, well, he's got a drive-through. Of course, the 3-second penalty, that is a track infringement. You have to sit with that till the end of the race, gets added on to your race time. The pit infringements can be served at your next pit stop if you have one. And then that drive-through, well, that drive-through is a little different. That drive-through needs to be served within 3 laps. And if not, as you go over the start-finish line, well, you get disqualified. Hopefully for Scully, he has not switched off his Jeff engineer. He'll give him a reminder of the 3 laps. He has switched them off, well, he might just forget. Disqualification. Riding with Jonas, now the driver in P2. Was that a safety car? Was it? I have no idea what happened. This is a strange game. We had the incident, it triggered nothing. Then we got a safety car. And the rain. Looked like the race was starting to settle down, starting to form a pattern. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, as we were getting ready for the pit window for the mediums, rain came down and changed everything. As you can see on the tyre screen, everybody has now made the change to intermediates with 3 interesting exceptions. Jonas going for a new set of medium tyres. 420, well, he held on to track position. He's done 21 laps on those hards. Still chooses not to pit. Another retirement, this time for Essa. Drive-through penalty, speeding under virtual safety car for its Ferrari. 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Penalties popping up left, right and center. And what looked like a race, like I just said, that was settling down into a bit of a pattern. Everything has gone crazy. All of a sudden we've lost 5 drivers from this field. We're down to 12. And how quickly things can change. Essa comes into, not Essa, Jonas comes into the pits from P2. And this is going to allow those 2 Red Bulls to get quite far up the road into what will be a comfortable lead. This race has come to Red Bull perfectly. And well, will you look at that? At this stage you can't blame me anymore. What does the screen say on the top left hand side? It says virtual safety car. What is that in front of the Red Bulls? That is not a virtual safety car. That is very much the Aston Martin safety car. So ignore the virtual safety car on your screens. We are under a full safety car. Strange things happening at Interlagos. Of course, that is Portuguese for in between two lakes. Entre Lagos. Of course, this was a venue of lots of bad luck actually for Ayrton Senna. Went many years without winning his home Grand Prix. Lots of bad luck, from accidents to, well, mostly reliability at his home circuit. Eventually he did get that win. That was in 1992. Took him quite some time to get that first win, and when he did, well, it was a party in Brazil. Joe's saying he's not superstitious, but something's not quite right. Absolutely. Virtual safety car. But there's a safety car out on circuit. We lost 5 drivers. Well, we lost 2 drivers, and then we lost 3 drivers very quickly after that. This is an interesting decision by Jonas. The rain is still falling. He's the only driver that has gone for a slick tyre. Who am I to say? This is Jonas. Surely he knows what he's doing. But if the rain does get any harder, his tyres are going to become quite useless. And his attempt to get to the top of the field is going to be almost impossible if he's on the wrong tyre. I keep on thinking it's a virtual safety car. Of course, this field will close up, but it's still going to be very difficult for Jonas at the start if those mediums are on a damp circuit. Surely this is a damp circuit. There's a lot of rain falling. Will he come into the pits? Yes, he does. And Jonas went from P16 all the way up to P2. I think he made a bad call on the tyres, or maybe it was just a mistake. If you don't choose your tyre, if you don't change your tyre before you go in, sometimes the mechanics just throw on what was the initial strategy that you selected at the start of the race. So that could have been driver error, or that could have been the driver taking a gamble. Gamble that didn't work out too well this time round. Crucial. Gets out just ahead of the RB. No overtaking. What this will allow is now Jonas has come into the pits. He hasn't lost too many positions as a result. We are under full safety car regardless of what the screen says. When he gets going, he'll be in P7 with equal tyres to everyone else. In fact, he'll have the best set of mediums on the circuit. Drivers ahead of him, they've already done 5 laps on the intermediate. Jonas will have a brand new set of intermediates. So it could be advantage Jonas once again. It's getting really slow here at the back. Means the safety car is coming in. Weeze has taken control. He decides when to go. There can be no overtaking till the start finish line. Red Bull's looking aggressive, almost pulling alongside each other. And I think there it is. Wheeze pulls off into the distance. It's free, doesn't get caught out, keeps the gap at 5/10 of a second. Then Levy close behind. It's been those top three for a majority of the race, and they are the top three yet again. Boinkies. So I'm in P10 at a stage. Well, things have changed. He's up into P4. That's what rain can do. That's what a safety car can do. Really mix up the order in a race that was looking like one you would have rather missed. All of a sudden you'll find yourself up in podium contention. Speaking of podium contention, one of the top three has a penalty. It's free. And what a penalty it is. What a penalty it is. This is... something is wrong with this lobby, folks. Don't think I've seen this before. Not quite to this degree. We have 4 drivers out on track. It's free. Jonas, 420 and Scully, they all 4 have drive-through penalties. Remember what I said about the drive-through penalty earlier. This is not something you can go to the end of the race and it gets added onto your race time. The drive-through penalty needs to be served within 3 laps or those drivers get disqualified. So we said Boinkies was in podium contention. Now all of a sudden that looks even more realistic. Now it's not showing drive-throughs. We just got a drive-through now for Jonas and it's free. Seems like the other drivers have taken their little trip through the pits. 420, 13 seconds worth of penalties. It's a track infringement and 1 pit infringement. Really strange, really harsh penalties being thrown out on the night. And it really, all the madness started when that first safety car got triggered. It's free. Into the pits. What's happening now? Still rain. Still see raindrops. It's free. He was in the pits to do his drive-through. There are any more drivers that still need to do their drive-through. Let's just bring up the penalty screen. Everyone has served their drive-through. Still a 10-second penalty on the back of Jonas. That'll be added on at the end of the race. I don't think we're going to see another pit stop from him. A race that was working out perfectly for Jonas, came from the rear of the field, got all the way up into P2, and look how quickly things can go south, regardless of your speed. As for Wheeze, the pole position, led the entire race. Now at the restart, could have made a mistake, but he didn't. Leads the way again. Domination in the dry has translated to domination in the wet. 4.2 seconds is the gap between P1 and 2. Said podium contention. Boinkies up into P3 in the rain. He wanted rain in Brazil, got rain in Brazil, and crucially in the second half of the race doesn't have that third place all for himself. He's going to have to defend it from Virus. We've seen the one Aston Martin fall. That was Skull. So all the responsibility of picking up points on the night goes to the sole Aston Martin, and he would love to be on the podium. He's so close to Boinky. It's the one disadvantage he does have. His defensive driving becomes a thing again when it's raining. Of course, very, very difficult to defend when the driver behind has DRS lap after lap. But in the rain, no DRS is available to anybody. So if you can make that car as wide as possible, put it in all the wrong spots, you can keep that driver behind you for much longer than you would in the dry. As I say that, we quickly have a look at the rear wing of Boinky. So how close is that? Virus was all over him in that first segment of corners. Weeze leads the way, 4.9 seconds. Comfortable lead now with just a few laps to go, but he's not backing off. He's pushing till the end. If you watched MotoGP over the weekend, you can see Marc Marquez leading the race by almost 4 seconds. Took too much of a damp curb, and that was the end of his race. He had a massive lead, had no intentions of slowing down. And that's exactly what we're seeing from Weeze, a racer's mentality. He's got a comfortable lead, it's raining. There's no need to be driving this quick. That's exactly what he's doing. Making sure there is no question, no chance of a late penalty destroying his race. 5.9 seconds. Levy in P2, comfortable P2. As for P3, nothing comfortable about it. Boinky's doing everything he can to defend. Virus wishes he had DRS at this stage. He would have been able to make that overtake, not this time round. The only tool you've got at your disposal is that battery. And if you haven't managed it correctly, well then you've got nothing to play with at all. It's lap 34 of 35. What a fantastic stream we've had tonight. Unfortunately, it seems like we did have a glitch in the lobby. Something went wrong. A lot of drive-throughs, a lot of 10-second penalties. 3 retirements that came very close to each other. We had a safety car that was labeled virtual safety car. All sorts of things happened. Rains, safety cars, incorrect information on our screens, a little bit of everything. And lots of support on the channel. Fantastic. We got up to 20 viewers at a stage. Has come down a little. I can say the race is not over, and we've almost hit 100 views on this video. 98. So thank you to everybody who either voted early on or who has been with us throughout the stream. 35 of 36. Not long to go. For the penultimate time, heads up the hill and over the line to start the final lap of the race. I said he wasn't giving up. I said he wasn't slowing down. 7.6 seconds the lead to Levy. Just rubbing the salt into the wounds, making a point. And obviously maximizing points on the night. With Jonas having a night that didn't go according to plan. See, that is the championship leader on 59 points. Not the best race for him tonight. It's for P2 and Weeze P3. It's a great result for Weeze. It's going to be able to bring him closer to the 2 ahead. Close up the championship. Red Bull with a very strong driver pairing. As you can see there, they're leading the championship, but only by 5 points. Lots still to be decided in this championship. And even though Wees dominated today and he's going to go over the line with an 8-second gap. Remember, this is pretty shortly after a safety car. Very impressive. This championship is far from decided. I wonder if Jonas will be questioning, starting from the rear of the field. Levy over the line in P3. Has Boinky's been able to hold on to it? Yes, he have. That was a very brave drive at the end. Salvo was doing everything to take that position away from him. And oh, that is close. You're not going to get much closer than that. Boinky's P3. It's free. Tried everything. Couldn't quite get there. P4. Virus P5. Osh Cartoon P6. Jonas. Well, he landed up in P7. That was your championship leader. I think he might still get driver of the day for that. Third place. Boinky's fantastic drive. One he'll be happy with. And confirmation of driver of the day. Going the way of Jonas. Brief look at the podium, and there's a Red Bull clown with a steering wheel. You're going to get a fine for that, mate. You need to put that back in the car. Wees takes victory from first on the grid to victory. Fantastic. Levy from second on the grid to P2. He held on to the position throughout. Boinky's, what a great result for him. Don't think he was expecting a top 3. It's free. Wasn't a top 3. Was in second place at a stage. He's going to finish off the podium. Then Virus P5, the only Aston Martin. Harsh Cartoon P6. Got Jonas P7. The RB of Big Rhino P8. Andre P9. And Osman is going to take home the final point. No points on the night for 420. No points for Scully. And then we've got retirements for Essa, Spikes, Skulk, and Top Gun. That's a lot of drivers with S's. Spikes, Skull, and Skulk. And there we have it, folks. That is the end of SAFRL Season 11, Round 3. Of course, it was a mystery circuit, and it was the first time the viewers in the comment section, you guys got to decide where we raced. Then we had to go to a tiebreaker, and I selected Brazil. We had a great race with what seemed to be a slightly glitchy lobby, but we did get through it. And of course, now the channel goes on a bit of a break. We will return on Sunday 6 PM with SKR, and then again on Monday 8 PM for League v League. And then if you're here, you know what's coming on Tuesday. SAFRL Season 11 Round 4. That'll be at Suzuka. I believe the SKR race will also be at Suzuka. So a lot of Suzuka coming up in the next week. And of course the Formula 1 Grand Prix. That's also going to be in Suzuka. So I thank you all one more time. We reached 99 views on that stream. Got really close to the 100. So thank you to everyone. If you enjoyed the stream, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, remember to leave a like on the video. If it happens to be your first visit to the channel, remember to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And there we go. We got one more. We got to 100 views. So thank you, everybody. It was a great stream. I'm gonna let you enjoy the music for the next 5 minutes, and then I'll call it a day. Thank you, everybody. And until Sunday, cheers.
racers chasing dreams in flight. SAFRL thunder roar, spinning wheels forevermore. Engines scream at 8 o'clock, adrenaline like ticking clock. Turns and twists where legends bleed. Every fan needs to believe. In the league of SAFRL we rise, fuel and fire in our eyes. From the lows to the highest highs, it's the thrill that never dies. Pit stops quick, a race of fate. Champions born at heaven's gates. Trackside hearts beat wild and free. Victory for all to see. Rivalries burn tire lights, red and green in the night. Final lap on the moon's gaze, ending in a roaring blaze. Crowd rolls like crashing tide. In SAFRL we take pride. From start to end hero fights, everlasting speed delight. In the league of SAFRL we rise, fuel and fire in our eyes. From the lows to the highest highs, it's the thrill that never dies. In the league of SAFRL we rise, fuel and fire in our eyes. From the lows to the highest highs, it's the thrill that never dies. In the league of SAFRL we rise, fuel and fire in our eyes. From the lows to the highest highs, it's the thrill that never dies. The thrill that never dies. Pit stops quick, a race of fate. Champions born at heaven's gate. Trackside hearts beat wild and free. A victory for all to see. Rivalries burn tire might, red and green in the night. Final lap on the moon's gaze, ending in a roaring blaze. Crowd roars like crashing tide. In SAFRL we take pride. From start to end heroes fight, everlasting speed delight. Delight.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's right, crashing dreams nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's right, crashing dreams nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.